With the NFL Combine slated to begin this week, players are showing up to showcase their skills, while some are bypassing the NFL Combine and others are looking for an opportunity to raise their stock. While the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, and New York Giants decide on whether or not their picks will be spent on quarterbacks, the New England Patriots, however, solved their quarterback problem last season and look to decide which player is going to be the draw at number 4, or will they trade out? These questions and several others will be answered on this edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style Mock Draft Edition.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned. Come on, Dave! Don't do it! No way! You ready for crying out loud! But behold.
Welcome back, all you gabbers. Thank you so much for joining us yet again on another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Of course, you gabbing with the one and only Mr. CeeLo here. And guys, I must tell you, checking out these mock drafts and looking at what these teams need has been a lot of fun. And I must tell you, I am ready to get into this next one. As you guys know, I have been making some huge decisions for the franchises here and deciding what needs to be done. I am learning these teams and finding out the best course of action to take. Whereas you're looking at teams where, if you've already seen, I've done the Cleveland Browns, I've done the Tennessee Titans, and I have done the New York Giants. Now, I also have 2 more drafts that I'm going to show you guys for the Cleveland Browns as well as the New York Giants, as the best case scenario has not come to play for either one of these squads. But I will tell you the best case scenario, I will say the second best case scenario for the Patriots will come tonight, as I'm still learning this football team and how to manipulate the draft. Now, this is the reason why I say this needs to be done by professionals. It's because you only get one crack at this thing, and decisions are made, and people have to understand. You can mock it all you want, but unfortunately, decisions that are made, they just happen. And I believe that if you're going to be in this, you definitely have to be prepared for what's going to happen. But I went through the draft myself, and I went through in a simulation and was able to come out with one of the best outcomes that I felt like that I've been able to come out with. The next outcome that I give you guys is going to be the best outcome, because I feel as though that I achieved everything that the Patriots are going to need. Now, you could argue that I did a pretty good job on this draft, and I actually have 2 more, so there's 2 more to go there. But the Patriots were able to procure their quarterback last season, and he absolutely performed at a pretty good level. I must admit, I was not a big fan of Drake Maye coming out of North Carolina, because, as I said, there have been North Carolina quarterbacks that have come out, and I look at it from the standpoint they were better equipped than he was. But as you know, you've got this New England team that did not have very much, and I think that is the reason why Gerard Mayo was let go. Not a fan of that move. I look at it from the standpoint that there was not a single guy in any coach that could have made what they had out of this football team. They don't even have a running back that is a quality performer, so I don't understand what this was. I felt like it was hey, you're the fall guy, we're going to go with you. You don't have anything at receiver, so ultimately that is where my job is, to solve one of these problems. I am able to solve a few of these problems, but I think ultimately there are going to be a lot of New England fans that want to go in another direction than what I have done. But to understand where the New England Patriots are, you also have to understand what they also do not have on defense. They do have Dexter Lawrence, whom was hurt in some, excuse me, not Dexter. You have Keon White, as well as Anthony Jennings, and there's just not a lot of guys on this defense that scare you. Of course, you got Jabril Peppers and Christian Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones, but outside of that, you have nothing. But without further ado, let us dig right in, people. Let us dig into what Mr. CeeLo has for the New England Patriots. And don't forget, guys, I've got two more. At the number 4 position, let's do it like this. Number 1, Cam Ward went to Tennessee. Number 2, Shador went to Cleveland. And at number 3, Mason Graham went traded up by the Jets, and the Jets took him. And that leaves us at number 4, which is the beast from Penn State, Abdul Carter. Now, what else can be said about this kid? Now, there have been a lot of drafts where Abdul Carter's been taken number 1. So that is subject to change. The 6'3", 250-pounder has good size, but just average length for an edge defender. He's an outstanding overall athlete with rare blend of speed, Micah Parsons type ability, speed, burst, and agility that allows him to be a game wrecker as a pass rusher. Carter is a versatile player who can align all across the defensive front. Same thing, Micah Parsons. He is best when he is rushing from a wide alignment, when he can use his speed to win the edge quickly and get around the tackle nearly untouched. Carter's lack of length allows longer tackles to get their hands into his chest to stop his forward momentum and stymie his rush. Carter is a speed rusher who plays with a relentless motor. His speed makes him nearly impossible for opposing quarterbacks to get away from when he is closing down in pursuit. That is another thing that makes Abdul Carter such an elite prospect. And do I think he'd be a huge addition to the Patriots? Absolutely. But ultimately, as you'll see in this draft, it is so deep at the tackle position. I was unable to procure one of the big guns in this. I ultimately believe that even if you get this guy, you ultimately are going to have to, as a Patriots fan, you guys are going to have to encourage your organization to go after one of these big, massive tackles in the 3rd round. Ultimately, what I was able to do is we did get a 6th and a 7th, but we ended up drafting in the top 3 rounds, guys. I was killing it. I killed it trade-wise. We ended up losing a lot of our picks for next year, the following season. I think we ended up with only a 1st, 2nd, and a 3rd, and maybe a 5th. But listen, when you see what I was able to procure in this draft, you guys will be like, oh my goodness, this is going to really rebuild us.
Stop the cap.
But as I said, if you're New England, you got to get one of those big guys to go with Keon White. Christian Barmore is a good player, but you're going to have someone else going on the inside of those guys. I would say, never mind, I'm not going to go there because I didn't draft him. But then ultimately what we do is we get that 38th pick and we fix up this offensive line that has been suspect all year on Drake Maye. You end up going out and you're getting a guy to protect the one thing that you need to be able to protect, and that's your star quarterback in Drake Maye. You go out and you get the 6'5", 339-pound Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota. He's a physically gifted offensive tackle known for his strength, length, and athleticism. As a 3-year starter at Minnesota, he consistently demonstrated his ability to move defenders in the run game and protect the quarterback effectively. Ursary excels in zone blocking schemes, utilizing his quickness, agility to reach the second level and create running lanes. In pass protection, his prototypical frame and length create steep angles for pass rushers, making it challenging for them to bypass him. However, his hand placement and timing require continued development to optimize his effectiveness against skilled defenders. Ursary's combination of physical attributes and on-field performance positions him as a promising offensive line prospect. Now, his development could be absolutely through the charts, having to block Abdul Carter every single day in practice. There's no other practice. There's no other way to develop a guy like this in pass protection than having to deal with Abdul Carter every day in practice. There's no way. This would be the perfect marriage between these two guys, just going at each other. Abdul Carter can figure out ways to be able to get his short length against bigger tackles. He can fix that problem as well as Ursari's ability to be able to get his hand placement correct. So these two could very well work with each other and teach each other how to. Even though New England would have to find a way to get these running backs out there and get them going in a sense. But, ultimately, if you can get a guy like this and, you got Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson with a guy like this is huge. But then we go to the 76th pick, which came via a trade as well. The Patriots also needed some help at that cornerback position as well, preferably in that slot position, as Christian Gonzalez stayed banged up, and you got Marcellus Dial as a good backup, and Marcus Jones struggled at nickelback. You could very well go and take a guy like a Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. Now, a lot of people are going to look at me and they're going to say, why do we need a guy in the third round? Well, let me tell you why. Because Darian Porter is 6'2", 197 pounds out of Iowa State. He's dynamic, versatile athlete with exceptional speed and fluidity, having made the transition from wide receiver to defensive back while in college. His elite burst and top-end speed allow him to cover significant ground. Porter's background as a receiver means he displays strong ball tracking skills and has the ability to close gaps quickly on the defense. His length and agility, you guys know how I feel about long, slender corners. His length and agility add to his upside, particularly in contested situations, while continuing to refine his technique both in terms of playing cornerback and when tackling. His raw athleticism and adaptability make him a high-ceiling player with exciting potential. Entering the league at 25, he will need to develop his skills quickly to maximize his physical peak. Now, a lot of people will say that last part is a problem. Okay, I get that. But you're talking about a third-round pick, a guy who is fluid, athletic, and my favorite, long and lean, and he's got excellent burst. Listen, they've not had a legit number 2 in New England for a very long time. You've got Christian Gonzalez, who is showing himself as an elite cornerback. Now you need to get somebody that could possibly take that position if Gonzalez gets hurt, or if you decide Gonzalez is not the guy you want to sign long-term in the next 2 years. You go with this guy, and he'll be developed. But I think Darian Porter gives this dude, along with the Abdul Carter on the corners, on that edge, and then you've got these two corners that are really good in man coverage, has the ability to be a turnover machine. Then you make a trade, and you're able to get the 78th pick, and you need some guys on the outside. Now, granted, I was only able to get one in the top 3 rounds, but this one right here, I think you guys will really, really like. He is going to be, I'm staying with the Cyclones again, the 6'3", 217-pound Iowa State Cyclone, Jaden Higgins, a wide receiver known for his impressive size and reliable hands. 6'3", 217.
God damn!
After transferring from Eastern Kentucky to Iowa State, he recorded 87 grabs and 1,183 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2024, earning him second-team All-Big 12 honors. Higgins excels at contested catch situations, utilizing his frame to shield defenders and secure the ball effectively. However, his limited agility can make it challenging for him to create separation on sharply breaking routes. Higgins' combination of size, ball skills, and productivity makes him a valuable asset in possession and vertical passing schemes. Which, translation, this guy is going to be a good jump ball situation for Drake Maye if you blitz him. Unless you're going to double him with a safety over the top. I would advise that if you're playing this guy. But 6'3", 217, that's a big body kid. I mean, looking at Higgins, this is one of those guys. Can you say T. Higgins? Just saying. This is a guy that has all the abilities and the tools to be a huge downfield threat later on. He's got good speed, and his size is what is just making people drool. And size at the wide receiver position, when you got smaller DBs, you can't change that. That is just an absolute thing that you cannot teach. Size you cannot teach. So that is why I went with Jaden Higgins with this fourth pick in the third round. Then at the 91st pick, another trade that I made, you guys, I was able to get another offensive tackle that could possibly be a guy that they work with, or they can move him inside until he becomes a surefire tackle to replace one of the tackles, whether it's Vidarian Lowe or Demontre Jacobs, whichever one of these guys is able to keep their job this year, if they keep it at all. And that will be Holland Pierce, offensive tackle out of Rutgers. 6'7", 342
pounds.
Holland Pierce is a massive, powerful offensive lineman with the ability to dominate in the trenches. His size and strength make him a force in the run game, where he generates consistent push and effectively clears lanes for ball carriers. Pierce's length and strong hands allow him to control defenders and maintain leverage in pass protection, while his awareness and footwork help him handle stunts and blitzes. While he can move laterally, he can be exposed at times by quick twitch defenders. There are some technique concerns that need to be refined at the next level, but potential he offers will mean he should have plenty of suitors. Now, for a guy being rated late in the third round, or possibly at the top of the fourth round, this is a guy that if they take him and they work with him and refine his foot skills, as we've noted, and we can get his hand placements in the right position, he's a dominant run pusher. He is a dominant guy going down the field. But if the Patriots can ultimately run the football and create some play action type moments with this guy, I'm going to tell you, this guy is going to be a refined, awesome right tackle. He could possibly become a left tackle if they get his skills right, but I think that's ultimately going to be Ursaryd's job at this point. But to get, a lot of people, you're going to say, why did you get 2 tackles in this game? We only needed 1. No, you needed 2. You needed 2. And ultimately, one of these guys, if you got one of your guys from last year that ultimately is able to refine his skills and get his job back, you could always move Pierce inside. But the pick at 91 is Holland Pierce. And guys, you guys are not going to believe, there's another guy that I'm picking here I was able to procure the 92nd pick and steal this guy for you. And he is shooting up the boards every single day. He started out as the 130th pick, or the 30th ranked player. Now this guy is all the way ranked at 97. And I selected him with the 92nd pick. He is, I want you guys to listen to this. He is the 6'6", 295-pound edge rusher out of Oregon, Jordan Birch.
Outstanding. Excellent. Superb. Well done.
At 6'6", 295 pounds, Birch is a dynamic defensive lineman known for his refined pass rush skills, including a standout swing move that contributed to 8.5 sacks and 11 tackle for losses in 2024. He excels with explosive burst and speed to power conversion, but struggles in run defense due to limited arm strength and lower body power issues. Despite these challenges, his productivity and skill set make him a likely mid-round pick. Now, the reason why this guy goes here is because New England needs pass rush. And if you combine him with Abdul Carter, who's going to be disrupting everything, you put him on one side and you put Birch on the other side. You already know if Carter's not getting there. Birch, if you watch his film, he doesn't necessarily beat you around the edge most of the time. Most of the time, he's a guy that just stays contained on his pass rush. He's very good getting to the inside, which is what Carter's probably going to force a lot of this to do. You're going to see a lot of what goes on with Will Anderson in Houston. Because a lot of times Anderson does get around the corner, but Daniil Hunter causes a lot of chaos on his side. And a lot of times the quarterback will run right into Anderson. I'm not saying Anderson's a scrub, because there have been many times where he's beaten tackles around the corner, but I'm just, making it clear. Birch is going to be that guy that's going to clean up a lot of the mess that Abdul Carter creates. Quarterback's going to see him coming. They're going to forget all about Birch, and he's just going to come either right from the inside or around the opposite end and take him down. This is a great pick because he's a great pass rusher. Just going to have to deal with him on those run downs. I say he's a second and third down kind of defensive edge guy. I think they'll have to keep Keon White in there on first and possibly rotate him in on second downs as well because he's not as refined on the in the run game as one Keon White is. I think Keon White's a better run stopper than he is a pass rusher. So ultimately, I think that would be where they more than likely would like to go with this. But then we move all the way down. We don't get anything until we get to pick 219. And there we are able to take another wide receiver, which many of you are probably like, oh, no, we took a wide receiver here. But hey, hold on. Before you start tripping and you start talking trash, let me tell you what I got. I got the 239th ranked wide receiver. In 6'1", 191-pound Louisville wide receiver Ja'Cory Brooks. Now, I watched this kid. This kid is quick. He is described as a dynamic wide receiver known for his impressive size and playmaking ability. After transferring from Alabama to Louisville, he revitalized his career with a standout 24 season, recording 61 grabs for 1,013 yards and 9 scores. Brooks excels as a deep threat, utilizing his speed and ball tracking skills to stretch defenses and create explosive plays. His versatility allows him to line up across various receiver positions, contributing effectively in multiple offensive schemes. However, his route running can be inconsistent, and he occasionally struggles with physical press coverage, impacting his separation from defenders. Brooks' combination of size, speed, and production makes him a compelling prospect for teams seeking a versatile player. Now, here's the reason why Ja'Cory Brooks is such an intriguing player. Because with Jaden Higgins, you get a bigger guy who's a bigger body guy, but then you get the speed element with Brooks. This is massive for the New England Patriots, a team who really does not have a guy that just kind of scares the crap out of you. Kendrick Bourne's a good player. Kayshon Boutte, okay. Demario Douglas, okay. Jalen Polk was not consistent last year, and I know he was just a rookie. I get it. But ultimately, this is going to have to be a position where we look at, and somebody's going to have to put some fear into these guys and get Drake Maye some opportunities. It can't just be tight ends Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. They've got to do more. There's got to be more on the outside. There has to be. And I think a lot of that's going to happen now that you're getting 2 new offensive tackles. And, of course, you're going to have more opportunities with the defense having 2 brand new edge rushers. And I think these 2 receivers are just going to break things open. And the final pick that I was able to get was Tyler Batty. Now, a lot of you are going to wonder, why did you get a third edge guy? Well, injuries were a big issue for the Patriots, especially on their defense. But when you get a guy who led BYU to the type of record that they had, and arguably in the college football playoff for a large part of the season, you take a guy who is 6'5", 269 pounds, a fifth-year senior at BYU. He is highly instinctual and physically robust pass rusher known for his intense awareness and anticipation. As an exceptional run defender with a long frame and powerful playing style, you guys know I love my edge rushers like I like my daggum corners. Long. Batty offers NFL teams a reliable high-floor prospect. His mauling mentality and his strong foundation will enable him to contribute immediately at the professional level while further developing his pass rushing skills. I like him because he is strong against the run, and he does have some good pass rushing skills. So you could take Batty if you're not happy with Keon White. And you could put Batty in there on first and second down. He's going to move some guys in that part of the game. And then you want to throw in Jordan Birch on third downs if you're not happy with Batty. You can keep that rotation going. And eventually what happens is you develop Batty as a pass rusher, and you can eventually get enough strength on Jordan Birch. He turns into a pretty darn good run defender. And that's not to mention you got Abdul Carter on the other side. The only fear I have with Abdul Carter is he's going to stay hurt with his small size. 3 of these guys, Batty, Birch, these 2 guys right here are bigger than he is. But the explosive, the elite explosive burst off the ball is what draws you to Abdul Carter being the cornerstone of this New England defense in the Mike Vrabel era. So let's go through it again. You get the number 4 pick. You take edge rusher Abdul Carter out of Penn State. Then with the 38th pick, you take offensive tackle Ariante Ursery out of Minnesota. Then with the 76th pick, you take Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. Then at 78, you take the big body wide receiver out of Iowa State, Jaden Higgins. Then at the 91st pick, you take the project that could possibly be the big mauling run blocker of the future, Holland Pierce. Then at the 92nd pick, you take the big, fast, sack, muscle-bound machine out of Oregon in Jordan Birch. Then at 219, you take the speed demon that can possibly stretch this defense for many years to come in Ja'Cory Brooks. And finally, you add that monstrous motor that you don't have at the edge right now, or you could possibly couple him with Abdul Carter, given that Jordan Birch is not developed correctly. And Tyler Batty, the cornerstone of the BYU Cougars for 5 years. That's going to do it for this edition of Mr. CeeLo's mock draft for the New England Patriots. Make sure you comment below if you don't like this one. And as I said, I've got 2 more drafts to come, possibly in the next couple of weeks, letting you guys know what. I'm going to try to do an edition whether you guys trade down and whether you guys stay put and what is available to you. Honestly, this to me is a pretty good draft. It could be better. But as I said, every draft is unpredictable. But leave your comments down there. Tell me why you like Abdul Carter and if there's any other picks that you absolutely like and the ones that you don't like. Also, go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and find out what other shenanigans I'll be caught up in the offseason. Don't forget to join the Facebook group, Gridiron Gab Pro Style, as well as the Facebook page, Gridiron Gab Pro Style. But until the next time, you guys, I hope you guys stay safe and sound. Same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.